Alright friends, I welcome you again to another series of our reflection, and this is a reflection of the Christmas day, and we shall be reflecting on the theme, and the word became flesh. John the Evangelist tells us that this word is God himself, the Son of God, who is the perfect image of the Father and an eloquent revelation of the Father. Now let us look into the readings to know what they mean for us. In the first reading from the book of Prophet Isaiah chapter 52 verse 7 to 10, this is what we call the Deutero-Isaiah, the part or the passage of the Isaiah that speaks of the return of the Israelites from Babylon to their homeland. And so, while they were in Babylon in exile, they recalled the cause of their sufferings, the cause of all their persecutions, and they now observed and had to know that the cause of these their sufferings, of these their persecutions in the hands of the Babylonians now has to be their sins, for they have failed before God and they have sinned against God. And so in their cry, they now began crying, who will redeem them? Or will they continue to suffer from the hands of these cruel tormentors, the Babylonians? But then, while they were crying, within this context, the prophet Isaiah emerged. And in his message of hope, that they will come to experience the Messiah who will come to redeem them. And so, in this joyful hope, as they were returning to their homeland, they were in a joyful hope and in a joyous mood. And so it is within this condition, the man said, if this return from Babylon to their homeland, they now ascribe this return as like a beginning, the beginning of their happiness, the beginning of a new generation. And so they see it as a beginning which God himself will bring to a perfect completion in the future. And then this kingdom, the new kingdom, which the prophet Isaiah gives them, this hope of a new kingdom, they now see this new kingdom as beginning with the birth of the Messiah who will come to bring them liberation, the Messiah who will come to bring them new world, new experience, and new generation. And so this liberation, they now began hoping that the Messiah, the birth of Messiah, will bring this new experience for them. But then, this Messiah, they must collaborate with the coming of this Messiah. And so collaborating is changing their lifestyle and then working or putting their exemplary life in such a way that this perfect kingdom they hope for will come to completion with the coming of the Messiah. And so, dear friends, in the second reading from the letter to the Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1 to 6. Now, the author of the letter to the Hebrew tries to present Jesus Christ as the sovereign and the almighty over all. But then he now tells us that Christ has revealed himself perfectly in the created things, and that in creation we see the perfect image of God. We see the love of God revealed to us. For even the pagans themselves in created things know and come to understand God. And so God reveals himself in creation. And so in creation we see God. The second, the author now says that God himself also revealed himself in the prophets. The prophets, God communicated to the prophets, and the prophets also communicated to us. And in the prophets, we hear the voice of God. In the prophets, we come to behold God. In the prophets, we come to walk in the right path and in the path of God. And then again, the author now said that in the fullness of time, God himself sent his beloved Son to us, and then he now revealed himself in his Son, who is the perfect image of the Father and an eloquent revelation of the Father. The Son is God himself, the Son who now came and took flesh, the Son who became flesh, and then within us the Son revealed himself. And all we need to do, as the author says, is to listen to the Son, to listen to this perfect revelation in Jesus Christ, to listen, to watch, and to see what he does, how he does those things, and how we too are to put all this into practice, such that we will be called Christians, Christ-like. And so when we become Christ-like, then will be called the sons and daughters of God. And then this perfect revelation, that promised kingdom, that promised liberation, which Isaiah foretold in chapter 52, will come to perfect fulfillment. And then again, we'll come in the gospel, we shall see why the Son of God, Jesus Christ himself, is the eloquent revelation of the Father. Now, in the third reading from the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 1 to 16, the author, the evangelist John, tries to tell us the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. For in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word became flesh and dwelt among us. The evangelist tells us that this Word is the Son of God himself, who became flesh and dwelt among us. Now the Son is this Word. Now the Word, the Greeks now ascribe, the Word became flesh. The Greek translation for this dwelt among us is pitched among us. And so this Word came to pitch his tent among us, came to be close to us. And then this Word now became flesh and dwelt among us. And so the evangelist now John says that this Word that has come to dwell among us is the Word, the perfect love which God has brought to us. He is the Word. And so it is through the means of Word that we communicate what we have in our minds to the other person. And so the Son of God is the Word of the Father whom he has sent to us, the Word he has brought to us. And so all we need to do is to listen to this image of God, who is God himself. Is to do exactly those things the image of God himself, and the perfect image of God has come to bring to us. And so the birth of the Messiah, Emmanuel, which is God is with us. This is a perfect revelation, a revelation that is open to you and I. And then that which was revealed in the old, and then with the Jews didn't understand, is now revealed, and it is now among us. Here the Word, now Jesus Christ, now dwells among us. And so we are privileged to have him among us. He has come to bring new experience to us. He has come to bring new word to us. Now, dear friends, how can God so love the world? How can he come show us this love by sending his Son? How can we not, in our own ways, not love our neighbors? How can we not, in our own ways, not show love, not to relate well with our neighbors? How can we kill ourselves? How can we antagonize ourselves? How can we live a life that we see ourselves as superior over other persons? It is Christmas. It is the moment that God has shown us that is the plan of salvation. He has revealed this among us. Why not become happy? Why not show this happiness towards others? It is time that you try to visit the less privileged. See yourself as what you eat is a privilege God has given to you. Why not extend this happiness to others? Look around. There are people who need God's help. There are people who needs you. You and I need in this Christmas, in this day we enjoy the birth of Christ. Let us extend it by showing love to our neighbors. And as we do that, may the good Lord continue to bless and bless our efforts through Christ our Lord. Happy Christmas.